Who loves Santa Claus? The tick loves Santa Claus. Is it true? It'll make him say spoon. On this episode of Moving Panels, we discuss the Christmas episode of The Tick. The Tick Loves Santa. Welcome to Moving Panels, the podcast where we discuss movies and TV shows based on, inspired by, and adapted from the world of comic books. I'm your host, Laramy Wells, and joining me today for this Christmas episode from Pop Culture Roulette, please welcome Nicholas Pepin.
I'm always down for some Tick and some Christmas, so why not put the two together and talk Tick-loving Christmas?
It seems like such an obvious thing for the Tick to have a Christmas episode, but out of its, 3 seasons, this is the only Christmas episode.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like the Tick and a Christmas episode would go hand in hand, but hey, we got this one, and that's the one we're going to talk about. But I do want to ask you, what's you said you love the Tick. What is your relationship with the Tick? Do you know the comic? Do you just watch the cartoon, the live action show?
I've watched the cartoon in both versions of the live action show. I've kind of intentionally stayed away from the comic. Because when I was a kid, the first thing I discovered obviously was the cartoon. Because it came out in 94?
Yeah.
So I would have been in high school, but it's like I love the cartoon, the humor of it. Like it just spoke to me. And
it was like Naked Gun style.
Yeah, I mean it was
one-liners.
It was accessible enough for somebody who was probably a little bit older. Because like I said, 94, so I would have been a sophomore/junior in high school. But the humor was just sophisticated enough that I got to pretend like it was like actually smart. But I've kind of intentionally stayed away from the comic because I've heard that it was a little darker and a little dirtier.
See, I actually don't know. This is going to be one of those rare cases in which I have actually never read the comic of the thing we're talking about.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was kind of hoping you'd fill me in, but all right. Maybe one of these days I'll break down and read it.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was too, is I was like, okay, I've never read this comic. Should I get a hold of it? I couldn't really find a good version to get a hold of to read quickly. And so I was just like, you know what? I don't need to. I think most people, and I actually think Ben Edlund, who created it, he has even said that this cartoon was the quintessential Tick. Like, this was what he meant the Tick to be, what he intended the Tick to be the entire time. So that's what I'm going with, is that watching the cartoon is just as good, if not better, than reading the comic.
Done. Then I'm already ahead of the game.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. You got shows like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which, yes, the comic is so much darker than the kids show we watched.
Yeah, I don't know if the Tick comic, from what I've read, is as dark as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I've heard it's a little bit more adult humor, more
like raunchy.
Yeah, a little more raunchy, a little more risque.
Kind of like The Mask.
Yeah, very, very similar. That's what I've heard. I've not read either of them, but I did listen to your Mask episode, so I get the reference.
All right. Well, we are going to do this one as a watch along. Thought that was very fitting. We've done these before, and hey, it's only a 21-minute episode, so very easy to follow along and talk about, because this is one of those where you really just have to watch it and do it Mystery Science Theater style. If you are listening to this while it's still available, it is on Hulu, and so it is season 2, episode 10. Again, titled The Tick Loves Santa. And so I've got it zeroed out right now. And in a moment, I'll give you a countdown. We'll hit play. And you can watch along with us as we talk about The Tick Loves Santa.
What's up, dudes? I'm Jerry D of Totally Rad Christmas, the podcast that talks all things Christmas in the 80s. Toys, movies, specials, music, books, fashion, and fads.
If it was gnarly during Christmas in the 80s, he's got it covered. Wait, is there a lot of things to talk about for the 80s and Christmas?
Well, you got the movie giants like Christmas Vacation, Scrooged, and A Christmas Story. There are TV specials like Muppet Family Christmas, Claymation Christmas Celebration, and a Garfield Christmas Special.
Plus classics shown every year.
You also jam out to Last Christmas, Do They Know It's Christmas, and Christmas in Hollis. But most of all, it was a time for the most bodacious, best-selling Christmas toys ever, like He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers,
And Cabbage Patch Kids.
yes, them too. We cover them all, plus much more, including standard segments like Hap Happiest Memory, Gag Me with the Spoon, The Other Half of the Battle,
And Chant with the Littles.
So tune in to Totally Rad Christmas everywhere you get your podcasts. Turn the clock back and dive into those warm and fuzzy memories.
Later, dudes.
All right, you ready, Nicholas?
I am ready.
All right, here we go. And again, when I say play, hit play. 3, 2, 1, play. What are your thoughts about the theme song?
I mean, so immediately, like, just the theme song takes me back to that theme song episode we did. But it's just that nice, like, familiar, like, oh, like, I know what I'm getting into, you know?
Yeah, so the theme song was written by Doug Katsaros. I don't, if I mispronounced that, I apologize. He also wrote the theme. I'm curious if you ever heard of this cartoon. He wrote the theme to Bucky O'Hare and the Toad Wars.
Bucky O'Hare and what now?
The Toad Wars.
Bucky O'Hare sounds familiar, but not...
Yeah, very obscure comic. It's also the same guy who wrote the jingle, the By Menon.
Ah, well, all right.
So I'm sure he's made some money off of that. All right, here we go. The Tick Loves Santa. This episode premiered November 25th of 1995. As we see, we got Santa here, and
There
we go. Written by Ben Edlund, who's the guy who created the comic.
I'll explain when we get home, son.
Now, Tick was on Fox.
Yes.
So Fox must have used the same animation or production studio that, like, Spider-Man and some of the other
You know, I actually think this one looks a little different from those. I actually think this animation is better than Spider-Man. I am going to say that.
It looks so familiar. Like, it seems very
I mean, it was
similar.
the style of the time.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
And
You know, Ben Edlund was 18 when he created the Tick.
I don't remember what I was doing when I was 18, but it wasn't creating something as cool as this.
Life stole my Santa suit. Oh, okay.
I love that the cop just immediately accepts the
Yeah, okay.
It's that guy.
Oh, yeah,
Clearly.
yeah, we believe you.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I never had one.
But they're dead.
So there's Arthur, voiced by Rob Paulson. Does that name ring a bell?
Not off the top of my head, no.
He is Yakko and Pinky from Animaniacs.
Ah, yes.
The enemy. We only have 2 days.
He also was the voice of Raphael on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Because didn't Mickey Dolenz do the first season?
In the first season, yes. Monkeys drummer and lead singer Mickey Dolenz.
1,800 shopping seconds till Christmas.
And then we got the Tick, voiced by Townsend Coleman, who was Michelangelo on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I love that the Tick is not smart enough to figure out that this is not real Santa, but he can do time math like that. Like, just immediately knows exactly how many seconds are left, but can't figure out that this one is not the real Santa.
See, his belly jiggles just like a bowl of jelly.
Now, the evil Santa, or as they refer to him, Multiple Santa, he is voiced by Jim Cummings.
Well, that's a name that rings a bell.
Yeah. Huge Disney voice for those of you who don't recognize the name. He's been Winnie the Pooh and Tigger since the 80s. He's been Pete, Goofy's neighbor.
Oh, yeah.
He's been Pete since the early 90s.
And clearly Multiple Santa and Pete share very similar voices.
Yeah. And he was Darkwing Duck.
What happened? What's going down? I said, buzz off! Santa, please, I can help. Santa!
All right, spread 'em, Kringle. We got you covered.
No, wait! Don't shoot!
Take
I mean, the police must know that the Tick is not smart, right? Like,
Yeah. So, well, they say you don't understand. Hey, that guy can jump right there.
Of all
Here's the thing, though. For a kid's cartoon, is electrocuting Santa Claus really a great choice?
Probably not. Especially since they kind of lead you to believe he's dead there for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Right. And their concern isn't that a guy just died, it's paperwork.
No, it's paperwork. Yeah.
Tick! That wasn't Santa.
Of all the ways to get a superpower, this would probably be the way I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and I love how it's just electrocuted, and then you get the ability to multiply.
Yeah. Like I don't.
I mean, I can't say much. I mean, the Flash was just hit by lightning, so. And then I love how he hit the M perfectly.
Right.
That it burned. But why doesn't the M duplicate?
Well, that way you can tell the difference between the original
I
and
get
the,
that.
But, you know.
The logic, though, doesn't make any sense.
No.
Here we go into, I guess, Tick's apartment is what this is supposed to be. What is that mistletoe made of?
Horsehair? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
Not mistletoe.
Yeah, no, it looks like the tail of something.
Field mouse, get under a missile.
And there we have Deflatormouse, voiced by Cam Clark, who was Leonardo in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So we've got 3 of the 4 turtles doing voices on the Tick.
Oh, Arthur, you poor kid. There won't be any more Christmas.
Now, do you know what Dave Fluttermouse means?
The field mouse or something bat. Like basically
It's
it's
the bat.
Yeah, the bat.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's clearly a parody of Batman.
Right.
He doesn't,
Tig, get with it.
There's a
American
feral boy poking out from behind
American
the
Made.
Yep, American Made, voiced by Kay Lentz,
okay. There is not now.
who the only thing I knew her from was she's Roger's ex-wife in the horror comedy House.
Oh, okay.
You don't believe in Santa Claus? Oh, please.
Definitely not. Yeah, definitely not.
Sewer urchin there, who is clearly
Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman. He's voiced by Jess Harnell, who is Wacko on Animaniacs. So you got both Yakko and Wacko.
Time to go caroling.
And crazy thing here, he's also has been the announcer for America's Funniest Home Videos since 1998.
Oh.
Recurrent theme in my nightmares.
I notice how the M is not consistent. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Like,
Well, or you're seeing one of the duplicates. Like,
yeah.
These guys great or what?
Ho, 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 buy some more. Ho, 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 buy some more. Ho, 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 buy some more.
Yeah, also kids cartoon ripping the head off of Santa, yeah.
Ho, ho, ho! You tell the world. Multiple Santas coming to town.
multiple Santa. This,
I may never sleep again.
and neither will the 8-year-old watching this.
Merry Christmas, yeah. We wish you a Merry Christmas.
What decision do they're like, hey, you know what, this is a kid's cartoon. Let's have them do a clear reference to Rain Man and Dustin Hoffman for one of the characters.
Yeah. Because they'll get it.
Wish you a Merry Christmas.
Well, I mean, this probably was a little bit more aimed for an older audience because it was one of the last cartoons to play on Saturday mornings. Like it had like that 11:30 time slot.
Okay.
Like, it was the last one.
Santa, you're back.
Now, were they running behind him? Like,
I don't know.
Because the sound effect makes it sound like he's multiplying, but he's only supposed to do that when he's electrocuted.
Santa, you're okay.
No worry at all that they're charging towards you.
And a feral boy is out in the snow in just a pair of shorts.
Yep.
But I was noticing this when there's a random high voltage box right next to the tree in the middle of the park, in the street, at the street, maybe? I don't know where this tree is supposed to
Yeah.
be.
Well, I mean, it's the box they needed to be able to power the tree. That's,
Right. Because, there's not foreshadowing there where they just put a giant high voltage box.
I love the $6 Million Man sound effect there. The slow-mo. And this kind of is out of character because of this entire group, American Made is usually the most efficient of the superheroes, and then she's the one that throws them into the high voltage.
I mean, I know that
that's not...
Logic and the Tick don't necessarily go with each other because that's the whole point, is that they're kind of parodying superhero stuff, but like
Santa's crotch. That's what we needed right
yeah.
there. Just a shot of Santa's crotch.
Okay, gang. Show them what you're made of. Me!
Yeah, all the superheroes run away from the not superpowered at all Santa Claus.
And the Tick, having just watched this, still refusing to punch Santa. Like,
yeah. But I like that. I mean, that's the Tick.
Even knowing that they're clearly the bad guys.
Grow up!
Yeah, I mean, doing something like that, but yet he still can't.
Santa clones cleaned out the must-go shopping plaza, terrifying...
See, that's just great. Santa Clones. Like, it's a great title.
Camera. Of course, the camera can always be replaced.
Why is its head so small?
Tick. That was interesting strategy last night. You know, the one where you just, stood there in the middle of the fight and did absolutely nothing while the rest of us got creamed.
Yeah, y'all didn't do much either, though.
Right. Well, she's claiming that the Tick dropped the ball, but she's the one who threw...
And created more, yeah.
Created more Santas.
I couldn't hit that jolly face. I mean, okay, odds are it wasn't the real Santa. But how can you ever be sure?
Here's a clue. If he jumps up and kicks you in the stomach, it's probably not Santa.
Valid point.
Yeah.
So none of the clones can talk.
And that one's cheating at cards.
Yeah. But none of them can talk, but they're clearly capable of playing cards and gambling.
Yes.
Whittling.
And whittling something, yeah.
The more electricity, the more clones.
And I don't understand why he talks like he is several people. They would make more sense if they were all talking at the same time.
Right.
Power source the city has.
Or,
of course, I thought that was supposed to be him. The mouth wasn't moving, but...
The hydroelectric plant at the city dam. Now I can tap into that, baby. I'll have me an infinite army. The streets will run red with Santas.
Another great visualization there. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan joins us, right?
Pop gun you've always had. You told me Santa gave you that.
Trying to explain to Tick how Santa is
fantasy, I know, but it's just not real. Candy cane to fruitcake. Come in, fruitcake. The birds have...
Rob Paulson yet again, playing the elves.
Can we copy?
That one sounds just like Yakko.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is... Now, so the 94, so this is 95. This would have been before the Santa Claus?
Dick, Arthur, we're Santa's little secret service. Merry Christmas. Eggnog?
So, like, did Santa Claus...
No, this would have been after.
Oh, okay.
Santa Claus came out in 94.
Oh, okay.
So this would have been after.
All right, I was just trying to figure out which one came up with the idea of having a secret service for Santa, like a elf protective detail.
The ELF.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, may we remind you, no sudden movements, no flash photography.
Of course, there's possible that it happened even before Santa Claus, but that's just one of the first places I remember seeing it.
Yeah. for him to have his own private security.
Yeah.
And of course, what's the difference between this Santa and the evil Santa? White eyebrows.
A travel alarm clock for you, and in the egg scrambler.
I love how he just tells him what he's giving him.
And he's constantly and then the eyebrows change color.
Come on, take.
Yep.
Back to
white. So Santa Claus is voiced by Ron Feinberg, who has done a lot of voice work, but I noted down he was Ming the Merciless in Defenders of the Earth. So he was the main villain. And he was Andre the Giant on Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling.
Have an orange. I tell you what.
Yeah.
Get off me.
I honestly would think the same thing that these elves think when Arthur walks back in.
Santa, look, I still... He's got a gun!
Easy, boys, easy. Sorry about that, Artie. Ho ho, most people are nice, but once in a while a naughty little boy loses it and comes after Santa.
Yeah, he's had that gun since he was a child.
Yeah, and Santa just gives him a pencil set.
Yeah. Don't replace the gun.
I love that at some point coming up soon, like the Tick will refer to Santa as a compulsive gift giver.
So, why do people think Christmas is so depressing?
The same security guards from the department store that got robbed yesterday.
Maybe it's because you never get what you really want.
Of course, their wonderful optimism about Christmas.
Yeah.
First they're everywhere, now they're nowhere.
What if we can't find them?
Then, chum, Christmas may be in trouble.
That is a payphone for those of you who have never seen one of those.
So Santa has a cell phone, but everybody else still working on payphones.
And I love how it looks like he's looking at him.
Right, we're on it. Thanks.
Okay, boys. Merry Christmas.
To the dam.
Hook me up, fuzzball. It's time to get my jollies.
Nope, not for a kid show.
Yeah.
I gotta warn you, that dynamo there puts out enough wattage to power 40 city blocks.
I mean, I get the Christmas pun there, but that has other meanings.
Yeah.
Okie doke. Bon voyage.
He just willingly possibly kills a guy.
Yeah.
All right, well, you wanted it, so sure.
Yeah, that's not terrifying.
Tick! I can barely keep up!
Yeah, I'd really cook if I had skates.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, Arthur, what do you see from up there?
Oh, no.
What?
There it comes.
It's a Yuletide!
Love it. Love the Yuletide joke. And this is one of my favorite lines too, when the Tick...
Like a great blue salmon of justice, the mighty Tick...
A great blue salmon of justice, because he's going against the stream. That's the stuff that made the Tick good,
right.
Were those one-liners like that.
Oh, yeah.
Merry Christmas to me. Ho, ho, ho.
Now, see, this could be why you find Christmas so depressing.
Because, this has happened before,
Yeah.
Multiple Santa taking over.
Yeah, this could be the reason. Again, logic.
You elf, you're heading for a fall.
You, deck the halls with them, fellas.
Again, love the puns.
Yeah.
Which
So,
Tick's about to get into.
Again, still can't punch Santa, even though he's just been attacked by a Yuletide.
Yeah. And just gives him a noogie.
Static electricity shorts them out.
How?
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
Right.
Because if static electricity is their weakness, Why didn't tumbling around in that Yuletide cause them all to disappear?
Well, and if electricity is what created them, wouldn't more electricity just create more?
Atom, yeah. And then I love how this works. Just throw that at them, and for some reason it makes them all disappear.
Yeah.
You throw one of the duplicates at the original, and it makes all of them disappear.
Santa threads. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas to you!
And I love that this is a through line joke of all the episodes where the moon has got the big chunk out of it. And
I also love the meta right there where he calls this a Christmas episode.
Impulsive gift giver. And he's Christmas all over. We, like his wondrous reindeer, should carry his message forward. So shove that bit in your mouth, shake your mossy antlers, and strike your hooves against the sky. Or just wake up and open your presents. I mean, what the hey? It's Christmas! Arthur, my
sugar plums. So a little Christmas trivia for everybody. So sugar plums are traditionally small pieces of hard candy with either a seed, a nut, or some sort of spice in the center. It actually originally had nothing to do with plums.
Merry Christmas!
Just one of those things they call the sugar plum for.
Yeah, so apparently I found out that the word plum is a confectionery term that just refers to candies that are small and round.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, of course, it's changed over the years, and eventually plums were connected to it. Whether it was plum flavored or actually using a plum that was covered in candy or something. So, yeah. All right, so there we go. There's the one and only episode of The Tick. That is a Christmas episode. Look, it's one that I think people don't realize it's out there. People, I think, forget about The Tick. It's a fun episode.
I would agree.
Let's go ahead and get into our final decision. Bag it, stack it, or trade it. So, Nicholas, what say you?
I mean, I think it's been a long time since I've watched the rest of the series, and now having watched this episode a couple of times today, it makes me want to go back and rewatch the original, like rewatch them all.
Yeah.
Without having watched all the rest of them, I'm going to say this seems like a strong episode, and I'm going to say bag it.
Yeah. You watch this, and this is just a very Tick episode, you know, with him being so innocent and naive and all the things that just make the Tick likable. And I mean, it's got all the characters, you know, all your other side characters in it, which is always good. Yeah, it's a fun episode. I mean, yes, it has probably its problems with does it go too far for a kid's show in terms of the way they talk about Santa, the way they treat Santa? But hey, we're not kids, so
yeah, no, that's true. And you know, like I'd be afraid of them doing a remake because I think that's what probably didn't necessarily work as well for the Amazon show, is that it lost some of the kind of innocent nature of it and went a little bit too much with the risque humor, which maybe was more in line with the original book. But you know, I don't know. Like I really enjoy the cartoon. I remember loving it. Like it's been a long time since I watched it, so who knows where it was. But there was an episode about the speed of lint. Like, have you ever seen lint get in a dryer? No, it's that fast. Like,
oh yeah, there's still. I mean, I have never forgotten that his battle cry is just spoon.
Right, which makes no sense compared to the fact that he's supposed to be a tick, which also makes no sense because he's like, what, 8 foot tall? Like,
yeah. But I also love whereas some of the other characters, like Arthur, he has a real name. We've seen him without being in the moth suit and all that. Tick, we know nothing about him. And I've always loved that about the character as well.
Right.
Like, he apparently has powers, which he seems to be one of the few of all the superheroes on the show that actually has powers, because he clearly is invulnerable and super strong, but we don't know how he got them. We don't know anything about him, and I've always liked that. What do you think of the you mentioned the Amazon show? What'd you think of the Fox live action one, the one with Patrick Warburton?
I tried to watch that one. I mean, I seem to remember enjoying it. I thought Patrick Warburton actually was a perfect choice for the Tick. Like, he's got the physical nature of him, but like the voice and I think there's probably a reason that it didn't last very long. But it's been a long time since I tried to watch that. I think I have the entire series on DVD. I know you do.
Yes, I do. I have both the animated series and the Patrick Warburton. I don't have the Amazon one though.
Have they ever actually officially released that on DVD?
They may not have, but they're starting to release a lot of the streaming stuff now on physical media. So maybe I can try to look for it. Another just popped into my head. Another Tick quote that I always remembered was there was one of the villains. I think it was the one that has the chair for the head, whatever his name is.
Chairface.
And he mentioned something about whatever he was going to do was going to destroy the Earth. And Tick said, "He can't destroy the Earth. That's where I keep all my stuff."
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that. That's now that you bring it up, that's one of the few quotes I remember, other than the Speed of Lent one. But
yeah,
I can't remember the quote, but I do remember like they were trying to both check into a hotel under assumed names, and the Tick picked like the most fake name, like something ridiculous, and the hotel was like, okay, and Arthur picked like Frank Smith, and like, you can't check in with a fake name. Like,
yeah, it's just a good show. We're gonna have to find some other episodes to fit in at some point, but this was a fun one to kick off our holiday season with this one and only Christmas episode of The Tick. And we hope you enjoyed it. We'll keep this episode short so you can, if you've got holiday plans, go out and look at some lights or spend time with some friends or family. It's all good. We're going to come back in a couple of weeks with another Christmas episode. We're going to do Merry Little Batman. That is going to be premiering on HBO Max. So we will be covering it shortly after it premieres. So looking forward to that. But thank you, Nicholas, for joining us for this. And I hope you have a happy holiday.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Rate and review the show. But for today, for Moving Panels, I'm Laramy Wells, and I'll see you on the other side of the page.
Ho, 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 ho!
What seems to be the problem, pal?
There's just so much pain in the world, so many issues. I don't think I can bear it.
Hell, friendo, it sounds like you could use a dose of pop culture roulette.
Pop culture roulette? What's that? Some sort of pop culture themed podcast or something?
That's right, sonny boy. When hope seems far, dive into some PCR.
But I already get my entertainment news from Variety.
Huh, that's pretty good. If you're a chucklehead, PCR gives you news you need, condensed, unfiltered, and raw, from three nerds who know a little something about something.
Wow, okay, sign me up.
That's the spirit. Pop Culture Roulette. New episodes every Monday, available on all major podcast directories.